on this computer. All right. Okay, so this is ACI 2 called Buddhist Refuge, and then in class 1 and 2, we discuss about the 3 kinds of refuge, right? 3 kinds of refuge, which is the what do we talk about 3 kinds of refuge? Anybody still remember? Basically, it's talking about the 3 jewels, right? Buddha jewel, Dharma jewel, and Sangha.
Sorry.
Yeah. Those are the 3 refuge. So that is the topic of the class 1 and 2. Of course, we also talk about the 5 exceptional refuge. So beside so what are the 5? The 5, we talk about the small scope, medium scope, and great scope. And then we have 2 more, the result refuge and the cause refuge. Remember? Yeah. And yeah, of course, beside that, we also discuss about what does it mean to take refuge, right? What does it mean to take refuge? And we learned that there are 3 components. There are 2 plus 1. The first one is the fear. The fear. And then second is belief. And then third plus 1 is the hope. Okay, fear. See, so this fear depends on your scope. Or rather, this fear determines your scope. Is if you are fearful of being reborn on the lower realm, then that is a small scope. If your fear is about not being able to get out of the wheel of life or the samsara or suffering, then that is the medium scope. And then if your fear is that not only you, but all the living beings cannot get out of the suffering, then that is the great scope. All right? Yeah. And then there is the fear. And then the belief is that when we talk about this belief, right? Well, I mean, refuge in general means we are fearful of something and we believe that something can help us. But in the context of Buddhist refuge, we believe that the 3 jewels can help us. And depending on the scopes, the small scope believe that the 3 jewels can get us to be reborn in the harams. And then the medium scope is the belief that the 3 jewels can help us get out of the wheel of suffering. And then the greater scope believe that the 3 jewels not only can help us, but also all living beings to get out of the wheel of suffering, right? And then we also have the cause refuge. Sorry, result cause refuge. We start with the cause refuge first. Result refuge, result refuge, right? Result refuge means we are taking refuge. No, sorry, let me rewind. Cause refuge. Cause refuge means we are taking refuge on the result of beings who have achieved it, who have been enlightened. Okay, so that is the result refuge. In this case, we take refuge in, for example, in Buddha Sakyamuni, for example. All right, so this is the cause refuge, the cause. Result refuge, on the result. Okay, on the result. I don't know, I'm still asleep now. So yeah, we take refuge on the results of some beings. Cause refuge refers to our own cause to become enlightened in the future. And then we take refuge in our own result. Okay, so yeah, I haven't woken up. It's 5 o'clock here. I woke up at 4. And yeah, but you know, it's quite interesting here. Yeah, like Geshe Michael is for the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Geshe Michael start at 6 a.m. here, so he had to wake up at 4 o'clock. And then he will leave his home at 5 and arrive here at 5:30, so that he can start at at the 6:15. Yeah. Okay, so that is the class 1 and 2. We talk about the three kinds of refuge and the 5 extraordinary refuge. Class 3 and 4, we talk about the wish for enlightenment. We talk about wish for enlightenment, which is also called bodhicitta. Right? So we define the bodhicitta as well, we have a long definition and we have a short definition. Okay, the short definition basically came from Lord Maitreya. It is the wish to achieve total enlightenment for the sake of others, for the sake of other beings. The long definition includes many components. We talk about mental. We talk about mental. We talk about belonging to greater way. We talk about focus on total enlightenment and then benefit of others. Yeah, so those are a few definitions. So that is basically the discussion under bodhicitta. Now class 5 and 6. Class 5, oh yeah, in the class 4, we also talk about the 5 paths of the spiritual practice. The 5 paths, right? And 5 paths, yeah. Oh yeah, and then in level 5, DCI level 5, we are going to go into this also if you're coming for level 5, right? So what are the 5 paths? We talk about path of accumulation, path of preparation, path of seeing, path of habituation, and path of no more learning. Okay, so yeah, so these are the 5 paths. And in simple terms, Geshe Michael like to refer to path of accumulation as the disaster. When something happens to you and you start to think of how to get out of that, and when you start to have renunciation, then you enter the path of accumulation. What does it mean by renunciation? We covered this in ACI 1. Basically, the renunciation means you feel tired of all the sufferings. You don't like the life of suffering, right? So in DCI terms, we say that I don't want to live without money. I don't want to live without money. I want to have a lot of money, right? I don't want to live without partner. Or rather, sorry, I don't want to have a lonely life. I don't want to have a lonely life, right? So either you have partner or you have friends, you know. So you want to have friends. You don't want to be lonely. And then you don't want to live with sick bodies. You don't want to fall sick. You want to be healthy, right? And then I don't want life which is making my mind go crazy. I want to have a peaceful mind. So all these are renunciation, you know. The moment that you realize that all these are suffering and you want to get out, that is called renunciation, okay? The moment you have renunciation, you go into path of accumulation. Some teachers even have a ceremony for you to take renunciation. But I mean, the moment you enter, I believe the moment you enter into ACI, and also even DCI, when you realize that, hey, there are more to this life than what you understand, that is a renunciation, okay? So that is path accumulation. Path of preparation means, in Geshe Michael's words, right? Somebody introduced the pen story to you. Hey, you don't like this life because of the suffering. Then, hey, there is a way. Listen to the pen story. Okay, the pen and the chew toy. So the moment you listen to that, you get into path of preparation. And basically, this is basically you need to learn, get used to this concept, At the same time, you will start to plant good seeds and accumulate all the good deeds until one day when you have enough seeds, then you enter into the third path, which is path of seeing, path of seeing. So sometimes we call it DPE, or direct perception of emptiness. And that is where Amelia had a question that we discussed in the group. All right. So, and that was a very good question, Amelia. I couldn't answer, and then I consulted some of my mixed nuts colleagues, and they gave me a very good answer. I only gave you the summary, which was done by Venerable Utpala, and yeah. So maybe just to recap, right? We discussed about the schools, right? The different schools, traditional schools, Buddhist traditional schools. Starting from 2 under Hinayana, which is Abhidhamma and the logic school, and then 2 under the Mahayana, which is the mind only and the middle way. And middle way, we divide them into the lower and upper, lower and higher, or sometimes we call the lower as an independent branch, and then the higher we call it consequence branch, right? So they have different definition of emptiness, and Emil's question was that if you have so many, or at least 6 different definitions of emptiness, does it mean that when people in those different schools get into their own emptiness, that means there are different kind of emptiness, right? And that confused me a bit, but luckily I realized that the different definition of emptiness in each of the school refers to the how do we define emptiness? We are going to talk about that tomorrow, but later when you have time, maybe we can touch a bit. But emptiness is defined in general is the absence of the impossible, right? And this impossible is called gaccha that I put in the chat group, gaccha. So the impossible of the gaccha. So the things that differentiate the schools are the different definition of gaccha. Different school has different definition of gaccha, and somebody IT mentioned us about which one is the higher. How do we determine the ranking is based on the how sophisticated your definition of the gaccha, right? The least sophisticated will put you in the lower rank. The most sophisticated definition will put you at the upper rank. But sophistication is not determined by complexity of your definition, okay? But it is determined by how you can explain all the phenomena. Okay, when we talk about these definitions, when we talk about this, we talk about the how we can explain the phenomena. Phenomena is how we see the world, right? Phenomena, how we see the world. So it depends on how we define. So those people from lower schools get into their emptiness when they understand their gaccha and they understand the absence of their gaccha. Okay, so, and then based on we call it consequence branch of the middle way, which is the higher middle way, those are less sophisticated and those are not the highest definition. And from the consequence branch, those are not considered as emptiness yet. Yeah, so we can say that they are not in emptiness, although from their schools, they are having the direct perception of the absence of gaccha, according to their definition, okay? Okay, so that is the part of seeing. And then once we see the DPE, once we have the DPE, direct perception of emptiness, we get into the first bodhisattva bhumi, first level of bodhisattva. And then we get into path number 4, which is habituation. Habituation means getting used to, getting familiar, right? So in the path of seeing, direct perception of emptiness, you get the feeling of the emptiness. Yeah, you don't really see in terms of, you have a perception, but you don't see. You experience it. You experience it in your deep meditation. And then during that perception, before that perception, we call it direct perception of dependent origination. So you start to see your seeds open up and project out. And then you get into the DPE, which is the emptiness itself. It is a perception. Yeah, that is the feeling when you ask people when you put the object on the table and there is no human, there is no dog. Is it a pen or chew toy? That is the feeling you get when your mind is struggling. Is it a pen or chew toy? It's nothing. It's a potential. That is the moment of indirect perception of emptiness. Or when Geshe Michael, I know you remember, right? Geshe Michael, during the Hatha Yoga Pratipika, used the finger, point to things which is not coming from your seeds. At that moment of struggle, at that moment of thinking, that is an indirect perception of emptiness. This is a very good method to train your mind and to plant the seeds. So Geshe Michael like to use the finger. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Geshe Michael used this a lot this round, Hatha Yoga Pradipika. I think only Ivo was in, right? Yeah, nobody else was in. Oh, Angela, I don't know Angela was in or not, but Hatha Yoga, please come in next round.
How do you find it? How do you find this time round?
Say again?
I missed it. How do you find this time the Hatha Yoga?
Very good. Yoga Sutra is philosophical. Hatha Yoga is very practical. Very practical. Okay. Very practical. I don't know. Ivo, you have things to say. How do you find Hatha Yoga Pradipika this time? You want to say something? Yeah. How do you find the session this time around?
Actually, I'm not joining all the classes, but because I translate the manual and I also the voiceover for the video. So I completely agree with you that it's very practical. And I promise myself I will practice. Yeah, especially the poses. It's very, I think if I can practice day to day, I can get something deep. I think so.
Definitely. All right. So, yeah. So, where was I? I don't know. Oh, yeah, about this finger, right? So we get used to it in the path of habituation. And then during this stage, this path, we progress from level Bodhisattva Bhumi 1 all the way to 10. And then you get into path number 5, which is no more learning. And that is the Buddhahood or enlightenment. All right. So that is class 4. Of course, we then start to classify bodhicitta, class of bodhicitta, the 4 division, and then the 4 types, the 3 types, the 2 types. Yeah. So that's class 4. Now, class 5. Let's start with class 5, and we can do the prayer. Okay. So, who wants to lead the prayer? Let me see.
Maybe I try. Yeah, my mom.
Okay, Angela, you lead. Yeah.
Wait, I must go to a quieter place. 1 minute. Okay. Sashi, Buki, Jishin, Mito, Vera, Ishi, De, Sangye Shindu Mite In Jokrut Nadam Shingla Chopasho Inam Guru Ranam Manalakam Yatayami. Sangye
Judang
Tuna
Joknan
Tunam Lam Chanchu Padu Tani Yaksu Chi
Dola
Naki
Penki Sangye Dupa Sho Sangye Judang Joki Joknam Lao Yang Chu Hadu Dakni Jaksu
Su
Daki Chunyen
Chen Ipa
Sunam
Sunam I
Dola Penchir
Tula Penche Sangki Chopa So
Sangye Chuda
Tage Chunan
Doki Joknam La
La
Daki
Jang
Jangchu
Chu
Badu
Tu Padu Dani
Chi
Yaksu Chi
Daki Chunyen Ipe
Nagi
Sunam
Punan Ipa Sunam I
Sangye Dupar So. All right, thank you. Let's continue. So Nirvana. So in class 5, we will learn the technical definition of a balanced mind, yeah, which is Nirvana, and describe the following terms: individual analysis, and then mental affliction or mental stain, bakchak or the mental potential, and also different type of cessations, the stopping. Cessation. And finally, give the first of 4 types of balanced mind. Cessation. This is the Geshe Michael offered me $1,000, but I missed the money yesterday. Cessation. It's called Gokpa in Tibetan, right? And it means stopping in simple English. Okay, Gokpa. I will always remember this, okay, because it's worth $1,000. So definition of nirvana. Remember, this is from the teaching by Lord Buddha and wasted, yeah, and commentary by Lord Maitreya, and then along the way Master Haribhadra, and then Kedra Kempa, right? So this definition is given by all those masters, Buddha and the masters. It means gone beyond the grief. The full definition is Nyundrup Malupar Pangpe Sosor Tanggok Nyangde Kichenit. Gok, this is the Gok, the $1,000 Gok, okay? I keep on reminding myself. Chenyi means definition, Nyangde means the nirvana. So definition of the nirvana is the Nyundrup Malupar Pangpe Sosor Tanggok. The permanent cessation, the permanent stopping when someone has eliminated the mental affliction obstacles, or we call it negative emotions obstacles, okay, in their entirety due to one's individual analysis. Mental affliction obstacles, this looks very familiar. Okay, where do we see this? Where do we see this term? Anybody remember? Mental affliction obstacles or negative emotions obstacles. Where did we see this term before?
The first class, teacher.
The first class, actually in ACI 1 mostly. Okay, and under what heading?
ACI 1, yes. Mm-hmm.
Under what headings? Why? Under what topic of discussion?
Mm.
We talk about the 2 obstacles. Remember? obstacles to Buddhahood. Obstacles to Buddhahood. There are two. One is the mental affliction of the negative emotion obstacles, and the other one is the obstacles of
Omniscience.
Omniscience.
knowledge,
Omniscience.
omniscience, okay, or
Knowledge.
omniscience or wisdom,
Omniscience.
right? So to become Buddha, you need these two. We need to eliminate these two obstacles. But to reach nirvana, how many do you have to remove? Only one. Only one, all right? Which is the mental affliction or the negative emotion obstacles. How about the other one? Obstacles to omniscience. Is it removed? Not yet. Not yet, right? So in our context here, in this definition, nirvana is not Buddhahood yet. But there are still others. Don't worry. Yeah, there are still others. There are still other definitions. Let's continue. But of course, you see, there is a concept of permanent cessation, and then mental affliction obstacles, and then individual analysis. Okay, so let's continue. What are they? What are these terms? Individual analysis. Individual analysis. Here it refers to a person's realization of various details of the four realized truths. Okay. A lot of people like to call it four Arya truth. Sorry, four noble truth, but actually it should be four Arya truth. Right after the DPE. So when you have this direct perception of emptiness, you will go to this. You will go to direct perception of bodhicitta, where you see all the beings and promise to help them. And then after that, you will start to realize the details of the what we call four realized truth. Four realized truth. Yeah. Which will, and then for each truth, you will also have deeper understanding, which divide them into four more. So the four realized truth can be, you can go deeper into 16 types, 16 details, right? So this is called individual analysis, right? So you need to get the understanding, the complete understanding of these four, all right? So this is the individual analysis. How about next one? Tuanchu. Tuanchu is the eliminating. What does it mean by eliminating, right? Eliminating here, I think this is a beautiful description. It means that like candle, you blow out the flame, permanent elimination, meaning that we get rid of these mental affliction obstacles, the negative emotions obstacles. So when you are in nirvana, nirvana is not a location, okay, it's not a place, but it is a state of mind. So when you are in nirvana, you don't have negative emotion anymore. No more negative emotions, right? So that is nirvana. How about Arya? Does Arya still have negative emotions? Anybody? Does Arya still have negative emotions? Those of you who are comfortable, maybe you want to turn on your video, right? So we can have a conversation, okay? So does Arya have negative emotion?
Yes.
Yeah, my wife say, teacher Cynthia say, yes. Yeah, because they are not in nirvana yet, right? When we, oh, people are typing in the chat. Sorry. Oh, Ivo, Crystal, Amelia, okay. You should speak. You should speak, okay. Okay, how about when you get into nirvana, what title do you get? When you get into nirvana, what title do you get?
Arahat.
Arhat, yeah, Alice, Arhat, thank you. So Arya is not Arhat yet. Therefore, Arya still have negative emotions. And eliminate. What else do you eliminate? You eliminate the, here, mental affliction and negative emotion that is happening now and also all seeds that could happen in the future. All seeds that could happen in the future. Yeah? Potential seeds. Seeds that could open when conditions are ready. Okay. And Geshe Michael spoke about freezing the seeds in Hatha Yoga Pradipika class. Okay. I want to ask Ivo again. Do you remember? I know she's thinking. Okay, if you don't remember, don't worry. Okay. Okay, don't worry if you don't remember. The rest of you, I'm not going to tell you now, okay? I'm going to tell you next time when I feel like it. So next time you should come to the classes, okay? Stay tuned. Yeah, Angela, no worry. You do your prayer. All right. So permanently eliminated, not just once, but permanent. So it is cessation. Okay. Cessation can happen before the path of seeing. It's like insurance policy. You can never fall to lower realms. Yay, cool, right? So cessation happened during and after DP also on the path, on the third, fourth, and fifth of 5 path, right? And this happens when you are in DP, and it eliminates the doubts of the path of practice and the truth. Because at that moment, you see the truth of suffering life. And after that, you will work. So during the DP, you enter the path of seeing, and you see the four area truth, and then you start to work to eliminate all negative emotions until one day when you have eliminated all, you get into nirvana. All right, get into nirvana. Cessation. I want to know how many of you have done lion's dance meditation. Just raise your hand. I know Alice has done before. Yeah. How about others? Emil?
I did it, yeah, after having the retreat in the past, DJ.
Yeah, Emil, you
But not
have
now
done before,
anymore.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Angela, you also learned before. Pui also learned before, right? Yeah. The rest of you. Rosiana, I think Rossi, you also learned in Borobudur, right? Rini also, yeah. A lot of you have learned before. So, yeah, around 2 times. Yeah. So, what do we do in the lion's dance meditation? We go through the 8 levels, right? We go through crystal. Oh yeah, crystal 2. Yes, we learn through 8 levels. Okay, Queen Nu Tan also used to practice. So we go through the 8 levels, right? And then we go to level 9. What do we call level 9? What is the name of level 9? Level 1 to 8, we just call it 1 to 8, but level 9 has a name. What is the name? It's here. Cessation
Isn't it
meditation.
emptiness, teacher?
We call it cessation meditation.
Oh,
Okay, cessation meditation. So it's basically stopping meditation. What do we stop in there? What do we stop in cessation meditation? Basically, we are stopping our misunderstanding of where things are coming from. All right. And then when I talk about the term misunderstanding, what will occur in your mind when I say misunderstanding? We talk about the wheel of life. Wheel of life, right? Yeah, okay. And then if you know about the wheel of life, that means we are trying to get out of the wheel of life. And when we get out of wheel of life, what is it called? What state do you go into, and what title do you get? Basically, when you get out of the wheel of life, you get into nirvana and you become arhat. Okay? Easy, right? Once you know the logic, it's easy. It's very easy. It's not complicated. A lot of people say, hey, this is so complicated. It's not. You just need to know the logic, right? Gechache, cessation. Okay? No more are here. Bakchan. So, means when we have this permanent cessation, when we have this cessation, we don't have to go to lower realms. Yeah? Lower realms. And what is causing us to go to lower realm is called lokta. Lokta is the wrong view, okay? Yeah, worst obstacle to freedom. So lokta means wrong view. Believing in wrong views. Yeah, so when we, all of us, not all of us, in nature, we have this lokta, wrong view. That's why we come back to this wheel of life. All of us has lokta. So we want to get rid of the lokta. Lokta. Ta is view. Lok is the. Lok means destructive. Okay. When you understand the term, it is scary. Destructive view. Why it's called destructive? Because if you have this view, you are distracted. Oh gosh, you are distracted. So we need to get rid of this destructive view. All right. And of course, lokta means the view that we need to destroy. So it's called destructive view, lokta. Okay. So believing in wrong views cuts the root of your virtue. Okay. So when you believe in wrong views, whatever you do is always wrong. Remember our discussion of a few days ago, I don't know whether you observed the group. We talked about the dirty good karma. I think Kili was there and she mocked my wife, I remember. What is it? She was mocking my wife. She said my wife is doing shopping. You thought I don't read the word. She was working, okay? So we talk about dirty good karma. Yeah, okay. We are actually doing supporting Geshe Michael. So we talk about that. As long as you are in the wheel, whatever you do, even good things that you do, will produce dirty good karma, and dirty good karma will bring you back to the wheel. Okay, so it will cut the root of your virtue. If you want to know how to prevent creating dirty good karma, you can go back to the discussion. Okay, actually, I can tell you lah. Just do all the good things with 4 steps. Any good things that you do without 4 steps, they are dirty good karma. All right, wasted. Okay, so you will get rid of this permanent cessation at the end of the second path. Okay, second path we can divide into 4 parts. Okay, 4 parts. So second path of preparation, we can divide into 4 parts. And the last part, this is where you get into permanent cessation. Okay, permanent cessation. So at this moment, you will never have wrong views anymore. And that is when you remove the possibility. That is when you start to remove the possibility to cut the virtue roots of the virtue. That is when you get rid of the lokta. Get rid of the lokta. All right. So it's very important. Well, actually, I know a lot of theory, but whether I use it in life, that's another story. Sorry to say that. Okay, so we are back to this, right? Classification of obstacles. Thank you, Emil, for your answer. Mental affliction or negative emotion obstacle, and obstacles to omniscience. We read this as omniscience, okay? Omniscience. Obstacles to total knowledge. Okay. So we know mental afflictions, we know negative emotions, yeah. Sadness, anger, desire, jealousy, upsets. And of course, omniscience is know everything. Ivo, how do we, in yoga, how do we all these negative emotions, where are they represented? How do we represent negative emotions, mental afflictions in the yoga?
This is about the side channel.
Yeah, perfecto.
Yes.
Actually, I should offer money. Yeah. So, left and right channels. Okay, left and right channel. So now you understand why do we want to collapse the left and right channel? We collapse them to where, Ivo?
You mean the right channel is represent for the
No,
like
we want to collapse the left and the right channels to where?
in the central channel.
Yeah, Sushumna.
Yeah.
Sushumna, right? So now do you understand why? Do you know why we want to collapse them? Because we want to get rid of these mental affliction obstacles so that we can go into nirvana. Yay! All right. Okay, so we work a lot on this mental affliction obstacles, right? It's called Nyun Drip. Okay, Nyun Drip. Drip means obstacle. Nyun means negative emotion. From level 5 DCI, if you remember the term Nyun Mong, Duce, and where's the other one? Kun Long, Nyun Mong, Duce. Yeah, Kun Long, Nyun Mong, Duce. All right, if you remember these three. Nyun Mong is negative emotion. And of course, drip is obstacle. Yeshe means wisdom. Share drip, all right? Okay, oh, somebody typed something. Okay, central channel. Oh yeah, Angela, sorry I missed your typing, all right? Okay, now let's continue. Bakchak, also called seeds, also called potential, right? Oops. So bakchak is a term that is translated into seeds. Bakchak, it means potential, only potential, right? Only potential. And we don't want to produce new seeds. We don't want to produce new karma, fresh karma, right? In Wheel of Life, which link is fresh karma? Yeah, my wife say. Okay, somebody want to say something? Which link?
Ignorant.
No, fresh karma is link number 2. Link number 2, okay? So fresh karma or bakchak is link number 2. And how do we stop link number 2? Is to stop link number 1, which is, yeah, I wanted ignorance, but we call it misunderstanding, okay? And in order to get rid of misunderstanding, we need to have wisdom, okay? So only wisdom can stop a new bakchak, a new potential, a new fresh karma, all right? Okay, so there's bakchak. I think we are almost at the end of class 5. And then these are the 4 Arya truths. Okay, so I think this is all of you should be pretty familiar, right? The truth of suffering, the truth of source of suffering, the truth of cessation again, the $1,000 question, and the truth of the path. All right. So I think, yeah, let's quickly go through. The truth of suffering means everything about this is suffering. Everything inside the will is suffering, right? Okay, again, the definition of suffering is basically the life that we don't want, okay? So I don't want you to go out and say, hey, everything is suffering. I don't want this life anymore. Don't never say that, okay? And then the source of suffering. So we know that the source of suffering comes from ignorant thoughts, or actually misunderstanding, okay? Misunderstanding that creates the bad seeds. So this is a source of suffering, which is link number 1. And cessation, the truth of cessation. I know that we can stop that. In order to stop the will, we need to stop producing fresh karma, which is link number 2. And in order to stop link number 2, we need to stop link number 1, which is misunderstanding. And in order to stop the misunderstanding, we need to have wisdom of understanding. And finally, the path, the truth of path. Yeah. So the way to get out of suffering is to plant good seeds with wisdom. Or I would say to plant unstained good seeds with wisdom. All right. So you need to have wisdom. You need to plan with the 4 steps. All right. So 4 steps is still very important. Never, when people tell you that 4 step is not important, you better run away quickly. Okay. When somebody tell you you don't need to do 4 step, you run away because they are the demons who will keep you in this wheel of suffering. And actually, no, they must have come from your bad seeds of misleading people with wrong information. So quickly get rid of them, okay? Okay, now different various type of nirvana. There are 4 types basically, yeah. So the first one is the natural nirvana. This is just a term to refer to ultimate reality. Right? It's also referring to emptiness, lack of self-existence of all objects, meaning that absence of gacha. Yeah, this term again, and then yeah, it's not. Yeah, basically, this natural nirvana doesn't refer to the nirvana that we talk about of getting rid of mental affliction. So this is just knowledge, okay? All right. So this is a blank screen that will turn into our future Buddha. And then when we have good seeds, we will project a Buddha instead of a suffering being. So what is the term of these blank white screens that will turn into our future Buddha? We call it Buddhahood, or we call it in Sanskrit Tathagata Garbha, right? It is one of the 4 Buddha's bodies. So this is called the natural nirvana. And this is not the nirvana we are talking about here. Oh, it is done. Okay. Okay, so that, oh, okay, so the rest will be covered in class 6. Okay, now let's have a 5 minutes break. Okay, before we, sorry, yeah, let's, before we go into class 6. Okay, so this is class 5. And where is my, oh, here. Okay, let's come back in 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Class 6. We are going to learn about divisions of nirvana. Oops, sorry. Let me share my screen. Okay. So here we are going to discuss about 3 types of balanced mind, and then 5 parts to a person, and 4 results of following the system, DCI system, okay, ACI, DCI, right? And 3 main parts of method to achieve nirvana. So apparently we call nirvana as in balanced mind, okay? So nirvana, the definition again. Doesn't want to move. Come on out here. So we talk about negative emotions or mental afflictions, yeah, which is equivalent to bad thoughts. In Sanskrit, it's called klesha. In Pali, it's called kilesa. Okay, for our Indonesian friend, Pali is more familiar. It's called kilesa. In Sanskrit, it's called klesha, and in Tibetan, it's called nyunmong. Nyunmong, right? So it is something that disturbs you, bothers your mind. Nyundrip we discussed before, right? Obstacles to drip is obstacle. Nyun is the bad thought or the mental affliction or the negative emotions, right? So nyundrip. Bakchak is mental seeds, mental stain mental seeds. Potential. Okay, so that is bakchak. Okay, so these are the definitions. Now there are 4 divisions of nirvana. So first, we talk about the natural nirvana. We discussed about that before, right? Rangshin Yande, not Rangshin. Rangshin means natural. So it's another term for emptiness, which is part of every existing thing. Just now earlier, when we discussed in the group, I didn't want to mention too much, but everything in the universe has its own emptiness. So with this understanding alone, we can say that there are different kinds of emptiness all around us. We have the emptiness of the computer, emptiness of your mobile phone, emptiness of your mug, emptiness of your table. Each object has its own emptiness. So there are many different kinds of emptiness, right? Which is part of every existing object. Natural nirvana also refers to blank screen or inner potential, right? So this is the first type, which is not the nirvana that we are talking about here. The next one is called Hlakche Nyangde, nirvana with something left over. Okay, nirvana with something left over. This happens to an arhat who has achieved nirvana, but still have the body. Okay, they are still alive. So it just means that you still have your body, your 5 parts, or we call it 5 hips. 5 parts, 5 hips, yeah, 5 hips, right? I think our Indonesian friends are more familiar with the term 5 skandhas. 5 skandha, 5 skandhas, right? That means 5 hips. So Hlakche Nyangde, nirvana with something left over, refers to nirvana when you are still alive. The next type is called Hlakme Nyangde. Hlakme Nyangde. Me means not. Hlakme, nothing left over, right? So it is referring to our heart who has passed on. No more body left. No more body left, right? And finally, the last one is called Minepe Nyangde Sita Shita. Minepe Nyangde, basically. Minepe Nyangde means nirvana which does not stay. Okay, and then Sita and Shita means not in the extreme of samsara and extreme of peace. Okay, so nirvana with nothing left over. Okay, these are the definitions, and okay, does not stay. All right. Okay, let's finish this first before I go back to just now the other two. Does not stay means ultimate enlightenment. Okay, ultimate enlightenment means Buddhahood. Okay, Buddhahood. Not in extreme of samsara, not extreme of peace. Yeah, and extreme of peace here. Okay, extreme of samsara we know, right? The extreme of samsara means extreme of no more mental affliction. Extreme of peace here refers to nirvana with small n. Nirvana of the lower way. Nirvana which does not stay refers to the ultimate enlightenment or Buddhahood, but nirvana with small n refers to the extreme of peace, right? Refers to nirvana of lower way when someone has eliminated the mental afflictions forever, but still not the obstacles to omniscience. Okay, got it? Yeah. So nirvana which does not stay is the ultimate enlightenment or Buddhahood. This is the nirvana that we have discussed from the beginning until before now. We are talking about the nirvana with lower n. Yeah, nirvana with lower n. Okay, let me see what else we have. Okay, now I want to come back to this here, nirvana with something left over and nirvana with nothing left over. Let's discuss, okay? So in easy terms, we say nirvana with nothing left over. Sorry, nirvana with something left over means our heart with body. Nirvana with nothing left over means our heart without human body. Got it? Now, have you ever thought, is it not scary when you become arhat, when you reach nirvana, when you are still alive, you have your body. And then when you pass on, when you don't have the body, where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go? Have you thought of this?
Are they still in the same word? Because our body is come from our seed, right?
Yes.
Maybe arhat without body, they understand that the body is come from the seed, and they know that the body is not come from the body.
So where are they? They just disappear, right? Disappear. Correct? And
Yeah.
where is the awareness now? When the body is gone, and then there is no more cause for the awareness to be there. Awareness is the link number 3 of the wheel of life.
Yes.
When you stop the misunderstanding, you stop creating link number 2, which is fresh karma, and you stop creating your awareness. So where are you? You are gone, missing, gone. So that's why Geshe Michael had a joke, Yeah, you can go for the lower school of nirvana, right? You are in your bliss. You no more negative emotion. Yes, you seem like disappearing and you're enjoying your bliss. But one day the Buddha will come and tap on your shoulder. Hey, wake up, wake up. Please go back to the Bodhisattva path, okay? Do something. Don't just stay there. Do something. Yeah. That's why don't just stay there. You see? That's why we want to go to nirvana without staying. This is the question from Suryanti. We want nirvana without staying, which is the ultimate enlightenment. Don't stay. Don't stay here. Go back to Bodhisattva path. Do something. Help all beings. Okay. And Kili, no more bardo. Okay. When you are in nirvana, no more bardo. Bardo. This is in ACI 8. Okay. Look forward. ACI 8, we will talk a lot about bardo. About bardo and all the realms, all the hell realms, mostly the hell realms and the different realms. Yeah, just for knowledge, which are the situations that we don't go to bardo? Pardo. Which are the situations where we don't go through pardo? All beings, when they die, they will go through bardo, but there are a few situations. Commit suicide. Okay, why? And extreme bad sins. Okay, for example, commit suicide. I think Angela and Kilis are correct. Commit suicide is very bad sins. Commit suicide. Okay, commit suicide might not be that bad, but extreme bad sins, we call it 5 immediate, what do you call it? 5 immediate, what's the term? 5 immediate deeds, right? Immediate deeds. 5 immediate deeds referring to what? Kili already put kill father, kill mother. What are the other 3?
Withdraw Buddha's blood.
Yeah, causing withdraw Buddha's blood, causing yeah, okay, there's number. Okay, and then schism, schism causing the break in the sangha. And what is the other one? Killing an arhat. Killing an arhat. Okay, killing an arhat. So those are what we call 5 immediate deeds. Immediate means you don't go to bardo anymore. You immediate go directly to the deepest hell. Okay. Commit suicide might not be as bad as the 5 immediate deeds though. And what is the other situation where there is no bardo? When you are going to be reborn into the formless realm. Formless realm. Okay. Yeah. No more bardo. All right. And of course, when you are an arhat, there is no more bardo. All right, let's continue. Oh yeah, okay. Nirvana with something left over and nirvana with nothing left over. So according to the lower schools, nothing left over means something left over means arhat with body. Nothing left over means arhat without body. But in the Mahayana, when you become arhat, okay, in the lower school, you reach nirvana with something left over, and then you go into nirvana with nothing left over. But in Mahayana, you reach nirvana with nothing left over before you move to nothing as something left over. It's the other way around. It's the other way. Okay, why? Because in Mahayana, we say that you go to nirvana with nothing left over, means you go to nirvana without bodhicitta yet. And then the moment you start to develop bodhicitta, then nirvana with something left over. Okay, so these are basically the 2 different definitions of that. Okay, let's continue with the next one. Okay, here it is. Come on. My computer is a bit slow today. Okay, how do you get into nirvana, right? So we talk about getting rid of the mental afflictions, obstacles, or the negative emotion obstacles. But here, we're offering you 3 more steps to reach nirvana. First is the extraordinary training of wisdom. We need to understand, we need to study, we need to understand what emptiness is all about, and then we need to practice. How do we practice? Basically, it's the pen and the two husbands in the kitchen. Okay. Oh, Kelly, you raised hand? I don't see. Are you still around?
Yeah. Sure. Oh, just now I actually wanted to ask a very quick question. Just now you talk about Bado, right? There's situation where we go to Bado. I mean, whereby we don't go through Bado, we go straight to the just now that one was a bad example. I was thinking, how about the good example? Can we don't go through Bado, straight go to the where the Buddha is? Like, you know, in what situation can we have that state?
Nirvana. Nirvana.
Nirvana is not enough yet, right? Nirvana is still not enlightenment yet, right?
Not enlightenment, but you don't go through Bado anymore. You are outside the will. When you are outside the will, you don't get reborn.
Oh.
Okay. So aim for it. Aim to go to, sorry, aim to become, aim to get enlightened. That's why in Dhammakata Sutra, there's a term nirvana size.
So means that if we get to Nirvana, we don't go through Bado when we die.
Of course lah.
Okay, because my understanding is right, Nirvana is my understanding is like Nirvana is like for example, now I'm alive, right? I have a life, right? I'm living, right? I can go to Nirvana. It's just a state of mind whereby I'm no longer upset by anything.
Yes.
It's just a state of mind, but I'm still living. But
Correct.
how about when I die?
So
when I die, at that moment, do I still go through Bado?
So that's what we call nirvana with nothing left over. Nirvana with something left over and nirvana with nothing left over. I think we are going to cover this topic after this, okay? After this. All right. So, yeah. So how to get to nirvana? First, extraordinary training of wisdom. Learn why do we, so people like to ask, why do we have so many levels in DCI? Because we want you to learn more techniques to understand emptiness. Okay? So never come and tell me, wow, so many levels, DCI again, so many DCI courses. We want to help you get into nirvana, okay? Why so many ACI courses? We want to help you. You know, like now we are doing ACI 2. At the same time, Tim is teaching ACI 7. At the same time, Gelse is teaching ACI 17. Yeah, I think all over the world, there are many ACI courses going on, okay? Just to help everybody go into nirvana and enlightenment. Why are we working so hard? Why do I wake up so early? Because I want all of you to go to nirvana together.
Not only Wakanda forever.
Not only Wakanda forever, right? My wife said nirvana forever. Okay, and of course, practice the pen and two husbands, okay? Okay. And then, what is the other two? Do so, the extraordinary training in wisdom, do so under influence of finely tuned extraordinary training in ethics and keeping your book. What is this ethics referring to? We referring to, of course, the 10 virtues. We are referring to the Bodhisattva vows. And of course, one day we are referring to Tantra vows. Right? But the basic is 10 virtues, and keep your book means what? It means 3 times book. So please write, or even 6 times book, right? So first, learn wisdom. Second, keep the ethics using the book. And finally, I think you can guess what is the third one? Concentration, meditation. Okay, meditation. Practice your meditation. Of course, there are many meditations available in our system and outside our system. If you are confused, you ask your teacher, okay? You can ask me. I can give you a proper guidance how to practice meditation. Oh yeah, that will be ACI 3, by the way. We have a schedule for that. I think end of this month or early next month, right? ACI 3. So please come. Yeah, okay. For Indonesia, you can ask Ko Apui, okay? Ko Apui based in Jambi. Is he around? Oh, he left already, right? Ko Apui? Oh, no, he's here. In Indonesia, you can ask Ko Apui. He is well trained. Okay. And he speaks Indonesian, by the way. All right. And that's all. So, I mean, that's all as in this topic. There are some more topics that we are going to cover. So getting used to what you realize directly, which is DPE, on path of seeing, so that you go into the path number 4, right? Meaning what? You don't yell back to the emptiness husband because he's never not coming from you. Yeah. Second husband is called Gacha, that never existed before, never could exist, and doesn't exist now. So this is the topic we are going to discuss tomorrow, Gacha. Or maybe later if we have some time, right? So we need to get used to this. Sorry, I'm picking a lot on Ivo. I want to ask Ivo again. What did Geshe Michael say? What did Geshe Michael say the way to the best method to move our channels to the center or to practice all this? Well, serving others is one thing, but there is one more thing, don't waste your time to do what? To blame others. Don't waste your time to blame others. Yeah. Yeah. So fingers again, okay, your fingers. Don't waste your time to blame others, because when you blame others, you're wasting your time. When you stop blaming others, you get back a lot of time and you are on the path of habituation to get used to all these concepts. Yeah. So that we don't recreate the perpetual downward cycle. Sorry, translator, all these are difficult terms. Okay, now let's continue. 5 hips. So basically, what are the 5 hips? Nowadays, Geshe Michael translate 5 hips into body and mind. Body and mind, okay? Body and mind. Body is the form. The mind, the other 4 are the mind. We have the main mind, we have the feeling, we have this discrimination, and we have other factors. Yeah. So body and mind. So we like to say normally the sequence number 1 is body. Number 2 is main mind. Yeah. Number 1 is body. Number 2 is mind. Number 3 is feeling. Number 4 is other factors. Number 5 is discrimination. No, sorry. Let me repeat. Number 1 is mind. Number 2 is feeling. Number 3 is discrimination. Number 4 other factors, and number 5 is the body. Yeah. So yeah, this is the 5 hips. Yeah. Number 4 is etc. other factors. Number 3 is discrimination. Yeah. Okay. Bonus question. Out of these 5, which are the 2 main culprits? Which are the 2 main culprits to help to make us create all the bad karmas? Which are the 2 main culprits?
Being mind and feeling.
Almost half true. Which one is true? Which one is wrong? Okay, anybody else? The other 2 combinations? Well, thank you, Angela, for answering. Good try. The 2 main
Discrimination and feelings, teacher.
Yes, feeling and discrimination. Okay, feeling and discrimination. Yeah, main mind is neutral, but feeling and discriminations are creating all the negative things. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, anyway, let's continue. So there's the 5 hips. Yeah, this is Borobudur. Okay, now let's talk about the result. Okay, the 4 results before you go into our heart. Arhat is called the foe destroyer. Foe means your enemy, right? Enemy destroyer, or it also means your mental afflictions or negative emotion is number 4. How about what are the other 3? So we have what we call stream enterer. This is Arya. What does it mean? It means that you have DPE. When you have DPE, you become Arya, and you also become stream enterer. What do you say this in Sanskrit? Stream enterer. I know somebody knows. John Winner, I think you know, right? We discussed before. Stream enterer is called Sotapanna, right? Once returner means you come back once. Non-returner means you don't come back. I think once returner is what Sakadagami, is that? And then non-returner is, I forgot. Alice or John Winner, you have to help me, okay? Anyway. And then number 4, we go into our heart. Now, non-returner, what does it mean? Means we don't return. Kili, this is where we refer to the Pado, right? Non-returner means what? We don't return to where? Once returner means we return to where? Anybody knows? Will? No. Yes, all of these are still inside the wheel. Only our heart is outside the wheel. All of these are still inside the wheel. So what does it mean? Non-returner means what? Basically, it just means that we don't return to the desire realm and the form realm. So that means non-returner, you will still return to the formless realm, right? Once returner means you only return once to either desire realm or the form realm, all right? And then when you become foe destroyer, Arhat, you don't return at all to the will. You are outside the will. When you look at the picture wheel of life, you see there is somebody pointing to the moon. That is the Arhat or Buddha. All right. And finally, okay. This is the one. Yeah. Okay. This is the one that we discussed just now, right? The Svatantrika school. Svatantrika refers to the consequent school. Nirvana with something left over and with Nirvana with nothing left over. Yeah. In other school, something left over means you still have the body produced by impure seeds. Impure seeds means even the dirty good karma. Nothing left over means you don't have body anymore, right? And okay, it's just end like that. Okay, never mind. So this is, but according to Svatantrika, okay, which is, Svatantrika is independent school, right? And I think what it wants to say here is that according to the consequence, then we start with nothing left over, means without the bodhicitta, and then with something left over means you have the bodhicitta. All right, so that is the definition for the consequence school. It's called prasangika, not svatantrika. All right, that's all for class 6. Class 6. Okay, let's do our closing prayer. And Crystal, you want to lead? Is it convenient? Crystal? Okay.
Sashi Pugi Dushi Meto Tram Rira Rinchi Empati Sangye Shikdu Wagi Drokum Namda Shila Chupasho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kaniyatayami Gewa di gewo kun sunam yeshe sojong shing Sunan Yeshe Lejuwe Dampa Kuni Topa Sho.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is today's class 5 and 6 about Nirvana. Tomorrow, class 7 and 8. Class 7, we are going to talk about Gaccha, the impossible things. And then class 8 and 9, we are going to talk about proof of emptiness. So we are going to cover class 8, which is half of that, and then class 9 and 10 will be on the Monday. I think 8 and 9 can be quite difficult, proof of emptiness. But I think we will try to do it. Okay, shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah. All right. I will do my best to cover it so that you all can understand. All right, that's all. Any questions? Any other questions? If
Teacher,
not,
sorry,
then
can
yeah.
I clarify on just now that part? So does
Yes.
it mean saying that once we reach the state of like nirvana, right, when we die, we don't go through Bado? Is that
Definitely. When it's called you are in nirvana when you become arhat, and arhat is defined as foe destroyer or enemy destroyer. And enemy here means what? What does it mean?
the enemy as in the destroyer of the mental afflictions?
Correct. Destroyer of mental affliction. Okay. So when you destroy your mental affliction completely, you get out of the will. And when you get out of the will, you don't come back. Means there is no more. When you don't come back, of course, there is no more Bado. Bado is, we call it the intermediate state. Before you go to your next round. You see, if you're not going anywhere, of course, you don't have to go to intermediate state anymore.
Okay, so means that I'm alive, but I'm just in nirvana, like that.
That is the one. You see, where are you? Okay.
No, I was thinking, that means that alive already, just in the state of nirvana, that's all, is it? I don't know, a bit blur on this part.
That's why don't go there. Go Bodhisattva track. Become a Bodhisattva.
Oh, this is what you mentioned earlier, saying that if a person go to the state of nirvana and stay there, it's just at the state of nirvana. And then you mentioned just now saying that Buddha will ask you don't stay here and then go to Buddhahood.
Yes. So you should go to nirvana which do not stay. You see, nirvana which do not stay means you are not the extreme of mental affliction and not extreme of peace. Nirvana with nothing left over is called extreme of peace. You are in bliss, but I don't know, nothing. try to bring it to a meditation, okay? So Buddha said, don't stay here, move to Bodhisattva track. All right?
Teacher Sugan, is it if we pray to Guanyin, is it it's only can go up to nirvana, is it? I don't know. I mean, ever heard.
Okay. I mean, we need to understand I think there's an interesting topic about difference between prayer and dedicating. This is in ACI 10, I think. Master Shantideva. Master Shantideva give us the explanation of difference between praying and dedicating. What is the difference between praying and dedicating?
Prayer is hope for, dedicate something good to others.
Dedicating means you hope for something when you have the seeds. Prayer means you hope for something
without the seed.
When you may not have the seeds. Okay? So pray can also means refuge, okay? Refuge. Remember definition of refuge? We have a fear, we have a hope, and we have a fear, we have a belief,
We have beliefs, we have a hope.
So here, when you pray to Guan Yin Pusa or Guan Yin, okay, what is in your mind? You see, you just request for the Buddha or the Bodhisattva to give you something, and at the same time, you don't do anything, you see. A lot of time people pray without this awareness, and that can be dangerous. It becomes superstition. It becomes superstition. So this is the same as why in the Nagarjuna teaching, Geshe Michael has been emphasizing that you need to have the seeds for mantra to work. You can't just pray, you can't just recite mantra and hope something to work without you putting in effort to plant the seeds. So if that is the case, why? I mean, yes, it's good to pray and to read mantra, but if you don't spend time to plant the seeds, you know, how can you get all the things that you ask for?
Teacher, then like that, right? Does it mean we don't need to? I don't know. Does it mean that we don't need to pray? Or if you have the seed, you don't need to pray also can. Is it like
I
that?
really like
I
Kili,
don't
you
know.
know. Hey, Kili, I really like you because you are, I mean, all these are good questions. I like it. Kili and Emil, you know, I like all these questions. And Angela sometimes also give good questions, all right? So, well, you see, sometimes why we take refuge? Because we have a fear and we have a hope and we have a belief, right? So we still need to have belief. So I think prayer is one way to establish our belief, establish our belief, but at the same time, we still need to plant the seeds. Of course, we always say, if you have very, very good seeds, of course, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do the surface course. You don't have to do anything. I mean, I don't mean to say don't do anything. You still have to plant the good seeds so that you will have the result that you want. But being a human, we still have to do what you have to do. Being a human, we are still inside the will. You know, you still have, if you have to work, you have to work. If you have to earn money, you have to earn money. If you have to serve, you have to serve. All right? Yeah, Emily, you want to say something?
Teacher, about nirvana, as we talk about here. So when we are looking at our 5 paths, where is it exactly? The state of being in nirvana, is it in habituation?
Good
Or
question.
no more learning?
Okay. Now you need to think in terms of 2 dimensions. Okay. 5 paths is 1 dimension. From left to right, that is 5 paths, right? Now you need to add 1 more dimension. So we call it tracks. There are 3 tracks of 5 paths. We have the listener track of 5 paths. We have a self-made Buddha track of 5 paths, and we have a Bodhisattva track of 5 paths. So some people go through the listener track of 5 paths so that you become arhat. So in the listener track of 5 paths and the self-made Buddha track of 5 paths, in path number 5, you become arhat. But in the Bodhisattva track of 5 paths, in path number 5, you become enlightened or Buddha. So arhat, which is nirvana, with small n, is on path number 5 of both the listener track and the self-made Buddha. But the problem is, if you even if you arrive at path number 5 in listener track or self-made Buddha, you still have to go to the Bodhisattva track and start from path 1 again. So why waste your time going through the lower path when you have to start from path number 1 of Bodhisattva track? Why don't you start your career, spiritual career, directly in Bodhisattva track? You see? Okay.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. All right, got it? Oh, who is
Yeah.
this? Oh, Ko Apui, come, our meditation teacher.
Teacher,
Ya,
selamat malam teacher.
malam.
Selamat malam semua. Saya mau nanya teacher, tadi kan ada Pancaskanda itu yang ketiga itu adalah kesadaran kan. Jadi
Okay, Koi, I will
membeda-
translate for you after this, Koi. Ya, oke, Ko Apui ulang lagi.
Jadi dalam Pancaskanda itu ada kesadaran membedakan. Jadi sebenarnya kayak cerita pena, kita itu kan membedakan sesuatu itu datangnya dari pena ke saya atau saya ke pena gitu. Itu kan membedakan. Dan itu tadi teacher katakan ada di link ketiga. Berarti itu setelah kita mencapai arahat, itu juga akan hilang kesadaran itu.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The question is in 5 hips. We talk about the feeling and discrimination, which are causing the negative seeds. And Kwapu is asking the even under different discriminating between the pen coming from its own side, or from ourselves. Can that be considered as discrimination, right? And the third question is the arhat. Does it mean that they don't have all these feelings and different discrimination? Betul lah apa ya? Okay, now let me answer. First of all, 5 hips. 5 hips is part of the will. Okay, will. In the 12 links, 5 hips is in link number 4, which is the 2 persons on the boat, right? The 2 persons, nama and rupa. Nama and rupa. Rupa is the body, nama is the mind, body and the mind. So for link number 4, nama and rupa, rupa form, nama is the mind. This is representing the 5 hips. So when you become arhat, when you get out of the will, you don't have the 5 hips anymore. Okay, that is one answer. And then, therefore, when you are an arhat, you don't have feelings and you don't have discrimination. Now, when we talk about discrimination basically focus more on the negative sides. Okay, I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I hate this. So basically about like and hate. Okay, so we call it the dark side of the will and the enlightened side of the will. So discrimination mostly on the dark side of the will, negative side. Feelings is also the same. Feelings means I feel. That's why we say, the feeling means ignorant liking and ignorant disliking. Yeah, Kili, which is the left side and the left channel and the right channel. Okay, so that is the feeling. All right. And in fact, these are part of the 8 sufferings. 8 sufferings, right? What are the 8 sufferings in ACI 1? 生老病死, born, old age, sickness, and death. And what are the other 4? Being with people we don't like, not being with people we like. And what are the other 2? Having what we don't like and not having what we like. Actually, I'm missing, there are 2 more, I forgot. Yeah, those are the 8 sufferings. Okay, and those are caused by the feeling and discrimination. Okay. All right, copy.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? The rest are very quiet, huh? Rossi is quiet, Suryanti is quiet, Edwina is quiet.
Teacher, mau confirm aja. Jadi waktu udah ada mencapai tingkatan arahat itu kesadaran akan cerita pena itu tetap ada gitu.
Okay, so the question is when we become arhat in nirvana, our awareness of the pen story is still there. Ya, gitu pertanyaannya ya. Yeah, I think in order to become arhat, we need to have the wisdom. We need to have the wisdom. And that is the wisdom of understanding, of cutting away the misunderstanding of me and mine. So that is the wisdom. So only when you have the wisdom, then you can stop link number 1, which will then stop the triggering of link number 2, and so on, and the whole wheel. Okay. So yes, I would say that when you become arhat, you still have the wisdom. Yeah, that's the answer. All right. Okay, any more question? Oh yeah, photo. Hold it, take photo first. I always forget. I don't think we have taken any picture. Let's take picture now. Who wants to help, or I do myself? Okay, I do myself. Let me close my. Okay, yeah, okay, come, let's take a picture. 1, 2, 3, yay. See, I see Ahui turn on the camera, then I remember the picture. So next time you need to turn on camera more often. Okay, Angela.
Yeah, teacher Sugan, because recently I go holiday with a 3 Christian friend, so I try to share with them the pen story about the concept of give what you want. Then they say that we Christian never expect any return. Why like you when you say give what you want, you have a motive behind, you know. So yeah, I don't quite agree with this concept, you know. Yeah.
Good question. I think we have discussed this very, very often. And I don't know, Kwapu, you want to explain in English?
Don't explain Indonesia, bahasa, I don't understand.
You want to try?
I think I cannot say it in English.
Okay. Okay. Angela, I think we discussed this a lot, you know. I don't think we have time for that. Why don't you bring it to your meditation? All right. What does it mean to what is the term? To expect return, right?
Yeah.
Pamrih, Indonesia, we say pamrih. Pamrih means you expect return. And what does it mean not to expect return? Okay, and why do we learn what we learn? Bring it to your meditation, and then maybe you want to share with us tomorrow. I think you know the answer. Okay.
Actually, I said that actually is the depends on. I say it's your intention. If your intention is pure, it's good. So there's no motive. You know, it's not motive. I told them they still don't agree. Say that well, Christian don't you know, have this kind of you know, concept. You know.
Yeah. You see, our purpose here. You see, in our purpose here is to explain about emptiness to people who are ready. Okay. So when they are not ready, it's best not to argue. All right. And there is one thing. Of course, the other thing is that my experience, when I don't explain the pen story correctly, I mean, I don't mean to say you are incorrect, but if we don't explain the pen story according to the terms, according to the terms that Geshe Michael has designed it, and then if you jump some of the steps, people might not really grasp the whole idea completely. Okay, so.
Oh, because I didn't explain the pen story to them. I use a layman term to explain to them.
Okay. Because you see, my experience is the same, you know. Yeah. So yeah, our understanding need to be strong also. So what I do if I talk to people and people don't accept my explanation is I listen back to Geshe Michael's pen story. Let's say now today I talk to Emil pen story, and Emil cannot accept my explanation. Right. What I do is I will listen back to Geshe Michael's pen story and check if I have missed anything, if I have used some wrong terms. Because I think Geshe Michael pen story is, I would say, perfect in sequence and in the usage of the terms. When you use his flow and the terms he's using, people, I would say almost 99.99% people accept it. a lot of time people disagree with me because I maybe skip some steps or use the wrong, the different terms. Yeah. So that is what I would suggest.
I told her I told her I'll send you the tag because she Michael, he got a tag.
That's a good way. Yeah.
That will send to them. Yeah.
But we shouldn't force them to accept our view. Okay. We are not in the business of converting people here. Okay. We just share the wisdom. That's all. All right.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Teacher
Okay.
Sugan.
So
sharing
any more?
Teacher, got one last question can ask. That
Yeah.
is just now, right? Just now that student he asked about the discrimination and feeling that part. This one I've been thinking about it. So it's like, okay, how I understand this is like basically, right, discrimination is the wisdom. So if we have the wisdom, then when things happen, it wouldn't affect our feeling. And then we wouldn't, do wrong things, think wrongly, say something wrong, or all these things. So this is my understanding where you said that this is the two culprit that actually cause us to sort of, just now you said sort of like plant seed or anything, right? So my understanding is like if I have a strong wisdom and then it doesn't affect my feeling, but I realize that some people is it not necessary that you have to, okay, you need to have both, but the thing is some people is affected by the feeling first and then after that so it doesn't mean that it has to be you have the wisdom first, you have the good correct worldview first, then it won't affect your feeling. Some people is affected by feeling first and then after that it goes to the wisdom or something like that. It's because like for example if this person like she just upset some other people, so when the seed ripen, right, she will feel upset first and then it's not that she doesn't have the correct wisdom but she feel upset first and then it affects the wisdom, something like that. So okay, recently I've been thinking about these two things, how it affect each other and how to this is basically I think is the barrier to before we start saying things that's not right, thinking not right, say or doing things that is not right. So yeah, I've been just contemplating about this part. Yeah,
it's a good contemplation. And since we just finished the Hatha Yoga Pratipika, I would like to quote Geshe Michael, Lung Sem Jukpa Chikpa. You still remember? What is that? Lung Sem Jukpa Chikpa? The horse
I
and the rider.
remember the 那个气随
Horse and the rider.
Yeah, it flows with the something, the where your focus is and then where the energy flows to, right? Something like that.
Correct. So it's the yoga and meditation. Okay, so you need both to balance. Some people who are feeling tight, that means the chi is moving wrongly. So you need to use yoga to help you. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think it's time. Let's end here. And then I shall see everyone tomorrow at the same time, 8 p.m. Singapore, Malaysia time, and 7 p.m. Indonesia, West, and Vietnam. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. By the way, the Turkey earthquake, if you have any chance, please help them, okay, through whatever channel in your country. I think the death toll is more than 20,000. It's very, very scary. Okay. So also dedicate all the good things to them. All right. Okay. I think that's all. Have a good evening. And
Thank
see
you, teacher.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
So tomorrow is 8 p.m. Not 7
Thank
p.m.
you, teacher.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, bye-bye.